Alright, here it goes. Low elite. Definitely I would say there's definitely some controversy here. Some things that I feel like should probably change. But I'll get to that in a sec. Alankylosaurus. Start off with that. I would say that's low elite. Can't slow anymore. It lost the ability to get the jump on creatures. It's good defensively, but that's really all it can do. If against a fierce, it can't do anything, and it can't like slow down and get the speed advantage over a cunning. So that's my problem with it. But other than that, it's a good low elite. Albert's great in 1v1s, but that's really it. It's easy to work around. After a 1v1, it's really not doing anything. Good resistances, probably the best rare, easily the best rare non-hybrid. One of the best non-hybrids around. But I think it's down here now. Alloraptor, I know people really like this, but I don't think it's mid-elite. It's got the 3 boost syndrome where it wants to boost every stat it has, but really that doesn't cut it in a meta like this anymore. You gotta take like if you look at the tyrants, let's scoot it over to the tyrants, and this is a problem with a lot of these creatures. Like let's look at Pteraquetzal, Testacornibus, Spinoconstrictor, Indotaurus. All of them you boost 2 stats. You don't care about the third. Pteraquetzal doesn't care about speed. Testa does not care about speed. Indotaurus doesn't care about attack. Spinoconstrictor doesn't care about speed. Then you go down here to like high elite and stuff like that. Like Orlicospix doesn't really care about HP that much. Tenontorex doesn't really care about much speed. Sealhaas doesn't care about HP really. It's like Majungaboa going down even further. Doesn't care about speed all that much. Megalotops doesn't really care about speed all that much. Anarchdipelta doesn't care about speed all that much. Like this is the pattern. Like you really want to only have 2 stats that you focus on. Alloraptor wants to boost all 3, and that's where it falls. That's his biggest issue. That and its swap bait easily. That HP really kills it. Good offense, but terrible defense. Ankyntrosaurus is like Alloraptor, but not the best. It's got decent offense, but that's really it. It's like it balances out kind of. Like the defense is pretty good, but it's not like super bulky. But it's got mediocre output. Also the low speed isn't the best, but if vulnerability stacked, this thing would be actually pretty good, but it doesn't. So that's his big issue. Ardon is kind of like definitely one of the better ones in here, but I could see why it's down here. The fact that it can't deal with evasion now is pretty bad. It is just again like so many creatures just getting phased out. Brontolasmus, same thing. No stun immunity. It just only has decel immunity. It's still not bad, but it's just not the best anymore. Carboto's weird. It's good, really. It's got really good defense, but it just doesn't work. Like headbutt's okay, but I mean I don't know. Compared to like so many other creatures, it just doesn't work well. Comsognathus Gen2, Courageous Alert, another really good basic attack. It just really has that an impact and run though. It's not the most amazing kit in the world, which is really what holds it back. It's got a good stats and resistances and all that, but the kit, it's not the best. Diplodocus again. Diplodocus is pretty solid for an epic. Decelerating Rampage is pretty good, especially with that 1500. Shield Advantage is a really good basic move. I mean, not basic move, turn 1 move. Resilient Strike is okay. It's just it has garbage speed, lack of resistances, and it's really easy to work around. It's great in 1v1s, but that's it. After that, it's done. Edaphocevia. Again, it's kind of like Carboto. It's just it's just not amazing. It's it's decently frail. It doesn't have the best output. It's not bad, but honestly, it's not like up to par with a lot of these other mid-elites. It's fast too, but again, like there's not much when it comes to boosting it. It's like it doesn't really benefit that much from a lot. Entelochops have just been phased out slowly. It's still a decent epic, but it's not one of the best ones. Same with Indominus Rex Gen 2. I'm gonna bring that one in here. They both have their own issues. Like Mutual Fury is both a really good move, but with Phlox now, like it really hurts that. And also like with more priority moves, more cunning effects too, hurting these two fierce creatures. They're just not holding up as well as they used to. Glyptoceras has got Stunning Alert, which is always a good move to have for a swap. If Critical Rampage was a turn 1 move, this thing would be actually really good. But it's not. Critical Rampage is this really, really good move, but it just sits there. And odds are Glyptoceras never gets to use it due to its low speed. Odds are it usually just goes for Resilient Impact, Insta Charge. Indoraptor needs some love. Armor Piercing Rampage is pretty bad. It's got decently good stats. But Evasive Stance, again, people hate Evasive Stance. I don't think it's as bad as people say, but it's still not the best move out there. Cunning Strike is alright. Cleansing Impact is okay, but it just doesn't do anything. It's just lousy. Keratoporcus is just mediocre. It's just a fierce creature that's slow and relies on Mutual Fury and group, and it's just not the best. It's bulky, but it's just not amazing. It doesn't do much. Monolometrodon, kind of like Edaphocevia in a way, where like it doesn't have the biggest amount of output out there. It's got better resistances, and I would say it's better. The resistances are really good, but the slow resistance actually really hurt it, the loss of the immunity. But it's got good resistances, a decent moveset. It just doesn't cut the mid-elite threshold anymore. Monomimus, really fast, really frail. Compared to something like Berlinkin, or Sora or Rinchus Ion, it's too cunning. It lacks it lacks a serious like wow factor. Like Slap and Dodge is okay, but I mean it's also got like Evasive Stance and Instant Distraction, so it's just a stally kind of creature, even though it's really frail. Not amazing. Nodopatotitan. Again, like this is just a big wall that can't deal any damage. It's really, really bulky, but that's all it has. It's kind of like Mammalania, except worse damage. Also, it's got worse resistances and can't heal. It's not worse Mammalania. It's worse Scutosaurus, because Scutosaurus has a full counter. This thing has like a quarter counter, which is dumb. It might as well just have no counter at that point. It doesn't do anything. Ovilophomoloch. I really do like Sly, Rampage, and Run. It's just this thing's stats and stuff like that just don't hold up. The Escape is it's not amazing. I do like how, I know this really annoys people, but the group Cunning Impact has no cooldown. I think it's pretty funny, but honestly, like, it needs that, because this thing is not the best thing around. Pteraquetzal. Good legendary. Probably one of the best creatures in this tier. It's got the counterattack, it's got synergy, it's got good bulk, it's got shields, nullification. It's got options. It's just not enough. It just doesn't have what it really needs to compete with like some of these. Like, compare it with another counterattacker like Majungaboa, who's able to match up well with like Forex or Model Rhino or Sarah Magnus. It really can't. So that's what really holds it back. Scutosaurus, bulky, good damage, good resistances, pretty fast, but it just doesn't have like enough anymore. I mean, compared to like these middle elites, like compared to another tank like Mammotherium, it's good, but it's not that good. Even Antarctopelta is able to output more than Scutosaurus, although then again, though, Antarctopelta, again, is always subject to debate and can fall. I'm always going to mention that when I bring up that. Alright, I'm going to just skip over to Stegodeus right now. I'm going to come back to these two later, and the one after it. Stegodeus, again, just kind of like Nodopatotitan, not as bulky, but a bit more offensive. It just doesn't hold up, kind of like Scutosaurus in a way. It's a good tank, but not as good as like Ankylosauros or like Antarctopelta or Mammotherium. It's good, but not great. I'm gonna skip this guy too. Tuoramoloch. This thing is built for raids. It's not built for the arena. Group Excel is pretty good, but it's got a pretty good bruise spread, but that's really it. And then Tyrannolophosaur. Tyrannolophosaur is okay. I mean, it's a good chomper. It's not as good as Alloraptor, but it's got a cool niche with distraction, but that's really it. And Velos, I'm gonna save you for a bit. Alright, Velosrhascos. Good rampage, good back and forth between rampage and pounds. Cautious strike is pretty good. Prowl is it's got good resistances. However, I feel like there should be one creature added that should never ever leave Velos' side, and I think it's actually better than Velos. It's a separate counterpart, or like a Gamma. I feel like Gamma is better and should probably be bumped up, and I will. This is going to be my 2 cents on Gamma right now, and these next 3 creatures. But I'm gonna have Gamma bumped up to low elite. I'm gonna vouch for that, because I think that, and I'm gonna go into why. Gamma has better turn 1. It's able to deal with evasion, which is pretty good right now. It's a pretty good ability. It's got better distraction. It's got team synergy. It may not have the stun immunity that Velos has, which is really, really good. But it's got a more diverse kit. It's able to deal with more scenarios than Velos, and that's honestly why I think it's better. But I think these two. I think either Velos should drop or Gamma should go up. One of those two. But that's my 2 cents on those two. And next list, I'm gonna definitely address that. But now it's time for my 3 creatures that I don't think should be in here and I think should move up. Smilocephalosaurus, Spinonyx, and Suchotator. Suchotator, I think, is actually better than Perlith. I'm going to say it right now. I really like Suchotator. Lethal Wound, Instant Distraction, great combo. It's able to really deal with a lot with the meta. It's able to slow creatures down. It's able to nullify. It's able to bleed and distract. It's got options, and I like a creature with options. Like Perlith. Perlith is a good rare, but Perlith can only deal with, like, Fierce. If it has to come up against Evasion and Cunning and stuff, it's dead. Suchotator can play around that sort of stuff. It could play around faster creatures. It could play around slower creatures. It could play around creatures of its same speed tier. It could tank a big hit with instant distraction. It could do so much. And I think it should move up easily. Spinonyx, again, it's like Suchotator in a way, but this time it has no escape. It's more offensive. It traps and it bleeds. And you just build. It's pretty easy to build. You got Lethal Wound, Precise Rampage, Definite Rampage. Both are pretty good. It's able to deal with like any tank. It's just a really, really good legendary. I think it. And even the strike is pretty good because it can deal pretty well with big bulky creatures like Bammalania. And then Smilocephalosaurus, great offense, great synergy. You hit and run. This, and also Precise Pounce isn't bad. Distraction Resist isn't bad. 127 speed is pretty good. Although I even said it was slow on Compicalus, but for like this, what this is designed to do, this thing works pretty well, and I think it should probably be bumped up. And I am definitely going to address those 3 next time around. But yeah, that's low elite. And next is going to be the alpha tier, so stay tuned.